Alright guys, we're off for a new video, the 10th episode about the complete renovation of this little rundown abandoned house from the 80s, about 50 square meters. We're redoing everything from A to Z since honestly, it couldn't have been worse. It was a mess. It was a mess. So if you want to watch the previous episodes, I've made a playlist. You have the link in the description from the demolition up to this video. And the previous video was about the flooring on half of the house with the drains. And before that, all the drains outside had been ripped out. The water inlets in the garage, I insulated the garage. Anyway, you can see all that. And of course, I demolished everything in the house. We have a huge amount of work ahead of us. The ventilation was installed with the Ubink system. I brought everything and will show and explain it all to you. I want to paint the fiber cement and the wooden frame on the inside before installing the insulation to treat and really protect the wood and the fiber cement, because when I tore out the insulation, I noticed that it was getting moldy in some places, so I treated everything, rinsed everything, but I'd rather protect it. So we're going to see Mathieu from Espace's Revêtements, who will advise me on a great paint. We're returning to the house project to leave it there, but first I need to discuss an important topic that concerns everyone with a fireplace insert, stove, chimney, and others as well. It's about smoke detectors in a house. We had a mishap not long ago with the glass of the fireplace, which literally exploded. My little fire had been going for about half an hour. A log fell against the glass. The glass was weakened at the bottom. In the corner there was a chip. That finished it off, and the glass ended up on the floor burning hot with ash and embers. Luckily my dog wasn't in front of it, since he often lies by the fireplace. If we hadn't been there and embers reached the couch or curtain, it could have been much worse. It might have caught fire. I called the insurance company and told them we have a problem with the glass. In the insurance contract, one glass replacement per year is included. I used the insurance and they told me to go have it cut. 244. A few euros for a 74 by 45 size. It stings a bit, but they take it into account and ask me a question. The question they shouldn't have asked me. Can you provide it for us because we don't have it? The invoice for the smoke detectors that we need to link to your contract. If one day your house catches fire for whatever reason, because of your fireplace insert or something else, it doesn't matter. We need the detectors. And then I thought, well, no, I've never installed any and I've never bought any. So I paused. I told them, yes, I'll provide that. No problem. And the person I had on the phone from the insurance company gave me a lecture, and she was absolutely right. She told me a fire doesn't give you a warning, and it's the smoke that kills first. So the Xsense kit is there to save our lives. Now, with a regular alarm, you're only alerted if you're at home. With the Xsense system, you're notified wherever you are, directly on your phone. The link, of course, is in the description along with the promo code. And it's also available on Amazon for those who are interested. So, with this kit, you get an alarm and 6 detectors. They're all connected to each other. Let's imagine you have a 2-story house and there's a fire or smoke spreading upstairs while you're working in the basement. Well, the detector in the basement will beep at the same time as the one on the ground floor, and of course the one upstairs too. And we also have the app. You will receive an alert message letting you know that there is a fire starting or smoke spreading in your home, so if you're not at home, you'll be automatically notified. And traditional smoke detectors have changed very little over the years. Xsense is an intelligent detector, designed to meet today's security needs, so it's really easy to install. The charger and cable are included. I'll leave the small control unit here, next to an outlet to pair it. It's simple. Hold the button on top and follow the app instructions. And then you can move on to the detector. The detector is very easy to set up. You remove the plastic film from the battery, you press the test button twice. You just follow what the app tells you. The control unit will tell you that it's paired, ready to add a device.
Device added.
And once you've heard this alarm, it means it's installed. We can move on to the next one. So I installed them in the living room, in the bedrooms, garage, hallway. I have one left that I'll probably put in the office. I care about my computers. You never know. Let's do a test. I'll take a piece of paper or a match, light it under a detector and see what happens. This alarm is crazy. It goes off way louder than my security alarm. And that's actually a good thing, because imagine if someone in a house passed out because of smoke. Well, at least the alarm keeps ringing. The neighbors are alerted and can step in. I've installed them in the living room, bedrooms, hallway and garage since I work there. A fire could start and smoke could spread. So It can warn me if there's smoke and if I've messed up in the garage. I'll get a notification on my phone if I'm not at home and there's smoke in the house or if a fire starts, which I absolutely don't want to happen. So it's better to be safe than sorry. All XN's website links are in the description, including their products and promo code. They also offer other items like checks. As mentioned, it's also on Amazon. And I was just thinking that for the house, since it's abandoned, it's a wooden structure house, and this is the kind of product you need, because a wooden house obviously catches fire much more easily than a brick or concrete block house. Okay, so we'll talk about it again. Maybe I'll install some on this site, but
Let's go in the meantime on this site.
in the previous episode, I told you that I also wanted to strip the supports that hold the chimney flues. We have 2 chimney flues in this house. They are flue liners stacked on top of each other. So we have about 20 of them, and the supports are made of angle iron that has been welded. They're starting to oxidize and rust. It would be a shame if they broke in 5 or 10 years and the flue liners dropped 2.5 meters. So I brought my cleaning laser, which is right here. It's a 300-watt pulse laser. I bought it not too long ago. So, might as well have some fun and use it to clean the chimney flue supports. You'll see that it will remove the oxidation and rust, and quickly too. There's no need to scrub, no need to add consumables to the machine. The laser alone removes the contaminated surface. And it works just as well on steel as it does on wood, since it's a 300-watt pulse laser. So, to give you an idea of the price, I bought this 300-watt pulse laser for 10,000 euros. This covers shipping, customs fees, and any extra options you select for the laser. With a pulsed laser, you can work on wood and steel. Here, I'll strip varnish from parquet flooring and remove paint from a piece of sheet metal. I'll show you 2 or 3 such examples. With a continuous laser, you can only work on steel, not wood. It's so powerful that it would burn the wood. However, it's much cheaper than a pulsed laser. That means that here, a 300-watt pulsed laser costs about 10,000 euros. For 10,000 euros with a continuous laser, you can get a 1500 or 2000 watt unit. So you see, in terms of power, you can go much further with a continuous laser. However, you can only work on steel. If you're interested, just write in the comments what you want. If you want Actec's contact information, you can also look it up yourself if you want. Other manufacturers exist, but Actec stands out as a genuine laser manufacturer, which is important to note. Make sure you find a real laser manufacturer. Actec does laser cutting, laser welding, laser stripping, cleaning. They only do that. You have to find it yourself. Make sure you find a real laser manufacturer and not just a distributor who will sell you anything and everything. Okay? So let's have some fun. I'll give you a tour of the little beast. You'll see. And then we'll strip this. Let me briefly compare lasers and sandblasters, since some might want to make comparisons. I'm not trying to compare the two. I can't tell you that a sandblaster or a sandblasting machine is better than a laser, or that a laser is better than a sandblaster or a sandblasting machine. Actually, for me, they're complementary. A laser is ideal for this project because it's very fast, needs no consumables, and I don't have to protect the floor, walls, windows, or myself. Using a sandblaster requires protecting the floor, walls, and windows. You'd have to wear a suit, a hood, and huge gloves because obviously what you're going to spray can come back at you, and it can strip your skin or even get into your eyes. You can damage the windows, you can damage the floor, the walls. Here you might say, we don't care. But afterwards, you have to clean everything up. The consumables that get sprayed everywhere, you have to sift everything, put it all back into the media blaster and the sandblaster to keep spraying. So it's more of a hassle. The laser is ideal for this type of project. You just need to protect your eyes with goggles. Wear gloves because I'm going to grab the framework with my whole hand to hold on, and there might be splinters. The angle irons might have small metal shavings sticking out, so I could get them in my fingers. Just wear gloves to protect my hands so I don't hurt myself. Splinters or metal shavings and goggles. A laser is still dangerous though. Don't point a laser at your eyes or use it to burn your skin thinking, hey, I'll use it for hair removal. It's extremely dangerous, but as long as you aim it at the surface you want to strip, you're safe. The sandblaster is very practical for me. If you have beams to strip in a barn and you don't care about making a mess because you're renovating, get a sandblaster and a good compressor and have fun, I was going to say sandblasting, so to speak, stripping the beams. This type of surface, you could strip it with emery cloth, a wire brush by hand, or emery cloth mounted on a belt sander, or a rotary wire brush mounted on a drill or on a grinder if you have an M14 spindle. That's really practical. I'll put a link in the description because you can use them on a grinder, and the advantage of a grinder is that it spins much faster than a drill, so you'll be able to strip oxidized or rusty steel. However, you won't be able to reach everywhere. The laser's advantage is its ability to reach anywhere. The operating principle, the buttons to start it, an emergency stop button, a touchscreen, you can set it up however you want, and we already have some predefined settings. Oil, oxide layer, rust on welds, paint, etc. Of course, you can adjust the power, the beam width, the speed, etc. You can change the shape of the laser. Personally, I like this one, but you can choose whichever shape you want. And the gun, since we'll be working at height, the advantage of this laser is that I can adjust everything from the gun. I don't have to come down every time to make changes. But for example, settings. The small lens is right here. It needs to be, of course, very clean. And you see on the top, we have a small nozzle. So this small nozzle, it's used to blow air because I can connect it to a compressor. That was what interested me, being able to hook it up to a compressor. That's why this laser is quite bulky. I connect it to a compressor and I get air coming out here to cool the lens, to clean it, and especially to blow away debris. Everything I strip leaves a small residue, and this blows away what I just stripped. So I can see the result instantly. Of course, you have to wear goggles, that's mandatory, otherwise you might as well make an appointment with the eye doctor. It's pretty dangerous. I don't need to spell it out for you. It's a laser, not a toy. I'll tell you. We're going to play with it. Yes, once we're all geared up, you could spend your whole day stripping walls, wood, the floor, steel. It's fun to strip everything, but it's an extremely dangerous machine. So the huge advantage of the laser is that it goes everywhere. I don't think I forgot anything. Time to check everything. So I'm filming this for you from every angle, that way you can see that I really did the inside. We're pretty good. Here, I didn't forget anything, same here, it's perfect. So both frames are done. We're going to treat this with frame 2 and then we're good to go again. So previously in the crawl space, I used this spray can, so it's Rupson frame to spray in Galva color. And this time we're going to use this little can, and the color should be more blue-gray than Galva color. So it's Rupson frame 2. It's a rust stopper, an anti-rust. You can apply it directly on rust. So I stripped the frames, so we're good. Rupson Frametto, a rust stopper, transforms rust for lasting protection, applies directly to rust, and is paintable. I'm turning the can over. You have some reading to do. I'll let you pause. Alright, so the can that's right here, we're going to cut it in half. It's a 5-liter bleach jug because I don't have a container to put my little product in. You keep the old jugs, rinse them well, cut them in half, and that gives you a container for paint or Rupson frame 2. Currently, I'm waiting for an order and use the time to get some 4-meter long pieces. I'll show you they fit in a Renault Trucks Traffic L2. These are coverings for the underside of the roof. I still need to get the gutters, downspouts, etc. since we're redoing everything on this house. While cleaning the roof, I filmed the gutters for you. They're a disaster. Warped, sagging, and leaking everywhere. We'll have to replace everything. It's 4 meters long. We're using a L2 H1 version, so L2 is the length, H1 is the height. There are also L1 H1 and L2 H2 versions. I'll show you all the dimensions. Mine is an L2 H1. In L2, I have 2.9 meters of floor space. To fit the 4 meters, we have this little hatch that's very practical. Does it hold by itself? You'll see, it's magnetized. And I can slide it under the passenger seat. We lift the seat. We lift this hatch, and I get here, up to this point, so I can load 4 meters in length. Someone can sit here, put their feet down, the driver, he's comfortable. So now you know that in a Renault Trucks Traffic in the L2 version, you can load up to 4 meters thanks to the hatch that's over there. And the doors open to 270 degrees. I'll show you on this one. That's pretty handy when you need to back up with the doors open. So, while we're at it, I'll take this opportunity to show you around the Renault Trucks Traffic, focusing on the storage spaces and the little options on the exclusive version. Because mine is the Renault Trucks Traffic Raid Edition exclusive version. And then I'll show you the storage spaces. You'll see we're spoiled. So the options on the exclusive version, the rims, which are beautiful, with the Renault Trucks logo in red. You have stickers all over the bodywork. The full exterior paint job. Inside, the seat belts are red. The covers feature the Renault Trucks logo. The mat is extremely durable, and on top of that, it can be removed so you can clean it with a pressure washer. It's branded Raid by Renault Trucks. We have automatic AC, of course. That's really convenient. And when it comes to storage, the door pockets are very large, very spacious, very wide. Here, you have a compartment to store a pair of glasses, the registration card, whatever you want. Here, we have another compartment with 2 USB ports. The sliding drawer, storage compartment, sliding drawer. And the highlight of the show, for me, I get a kick out of this. It's the modular seat. You can use it as a desk, so of course you can remove this part. There you go. You have access here. You lift it up. You can store documents, a tablet, and I use it a lot when I have video calls with suppliers or partners. I settle in here, I put down the computer, and here I'm comfortable. Honestly, the seats are really comfortable. So, it's a real pleasure to sit in this Renault Trucks Traffic and have my little video call with the computer set up right here, rather than being on the construction site sitting on a poor stool or stepladder. You know what I mean. So in terms of storage,
you're on top of things.
There's storage everywhere.
And even the small water bottles, you have them on both sides. You can put your bottles, your cans, whatever you want.
Because right now I want to unload what I'm bringing back, go to the dump to throw things away, and mainly clean up the site and gather everything in the center. because I'd like to paint the fiber cement and wood frame with an airless. By moving everything to the center, I can walk around the room. For now, we only have one room here with no partitions, so I can go all the way around. Because if I start putting everything on the left and tell myself, okay, I'll paint on the right, once I'm done painting on the right, I have to paint on the left, so I have to move everything again. We waste time. By bringing everything to the middle, putting down a tarp, protecting the bay windows, it's going to go super fast. So a little coverall, the mask, etc. So we're going to see Mathieu, who works at Espace Revêtements. He's going to advise me on the choice of paint. I need a paint that will stick both to fiber cement, to wood, and so on. For those unfamiliar, Espace Revêtements has existed since 1985. There are more than 120 stores all over France. I'll put a link in the description with a map to help you find the nearest Espace Revêtements to your home. At Espace Revêtements, they specialize in everything related to paint, plaster, flooring, wallpaper, decoration, and of course tools for all painting and decorating enthusiasts. Check out the Espace Revêtements website in the description, and at any Espace Revêtements store in France, you'll work with real professionals ready to offer the best advice.
Mathieu,
I have a mission for you. Basically, let me explain my dilemma. I'm on a construction site, a house with a wooden structure with fiber cement on the outside that's 1 centimeter thick. Panels that are 2.5 meters by 1.2 meters wide. Of course, it's going to be insulated on the inside. I'm going to put my drywall panels back with a metal frame, and on the outside, normally there should be an exterior insulation, but that's unclear. When I removed the old drywall panels and the original fiberglass, I noticed there were small spots on the interior fiber cement. I treated everything, I cleaned everything, I rinsed everything. What I'd like is to treat it from the inside. Even though normally there should be exterior insulation later on. So the goal, by treating it from the inside, is to protect it and the wood. And this fiber cement to prevent new stains from forming inside. Do you have a product to treat that? I can apply a primer, I can apply a finishing product, I can use several types. All right.
I might have a simpler suggestion. I have a great product that would work both on wood and on fiber cement. It's a single product that works as both primer and finish.
All right.
And that would be able to stick to anything.
All water-based.
You could use it on very complicated things like galvanized metal, copper, and even wood. Siding.
All right.
Siding, things like that.
Okay.
On the outside. And then inside it's kind of a miracle product too that would stick. And in your case I think it could be interesting. It'll save you from having to separate the surfaces. From putting oil-based paint on the wood and a water-based paint on your fiber cement. So this one sticks to everything. Single product. You can apply 2 coats to get something quite, tinted enough to properly protect your surface. It will also nourish your wood, so it can be pretty good to treat it well with this.
Okay. So I guess this product is white. I could tint it, but there's no point, so we'll keep it white.
If you cover it afterwards, we can keep it white.
When you mentioned siding, I said if I ever have siding to paint, I can tint it.
Yes.
Of course.
It works. It's a product that can go in the tinting machine. There are several packaging options, small sizes, large sizes, and we can dye it in any color you want.
Okay, since this product is heavy, can I use an airless spray gun? Yes. Even with oil-based paint, you can use it with an airless spray gun, but cleaning is harder. It's best if it's just water.
We're talking about the signature range from Espace Revêtements, which is our high-end line of technical products. As I mentioned earlier, UGET includes both primer and finish. All of this has a velvety look and is truly multi-surface. So this is the product you need to have when you're doing work because it lets you tackle any surface. It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of paint.
Okay, so with this product, I can pretty much do everything. So primer, I see finish, velvet. Does it come in satin or just velvet?
So for now we have it in a velvety finish, and it's a product that might be developed in other finishes in the future.
So with one product, I can do almost everything, both indoors and outdoors. Exactly, that's pretty convenient. It saves you from having 50,000 different paints.
Yeah, you can even do your radiators indoors. Often the client needs to paint their radiators and they use a color on their wall. They'd like the radiator to be exactly the same shade. There's always a risk when you use a different paint for the radiator.
It might be more yellow or less yellow, and here?
The advantage is you use the same product, ensuring the exact shade for both, plus it's anti-corrosion. Honestly, it's a versatile, great product.
Okay, that works. And question, could I repaint, for example, kitchen cabinet fronts with it?
Yes, typically for kitchen renovation.
Or a staircase?
Or a staircase as well. Yeah, it's a product that would stick easily. So then you told me that you had fiber cement and wood. For your first coat, I recommend diluting it by 5%.
It's a good primer.
It'll help you avoid unnecessary waste. If you have any doubts and you don't remember the dilution percentage, I have a little tip for you. You can just check right here with your QR code.
Okay, perfect. So I scan the little QR code and I have all the info, so I can't mess up now. If I mess up, it's because I'm bad.
That's right.
Is this paint washable? Silly question, I know, but
Yes, but it's important. With this product we have a class 1 washable rating, which is the best classification for wet abrasion resistance, so it's a rather durable product for a velvety finish.
okay.
It dries quickly, you can recoat it after 3 hours, apply your second coat, which allows you to start your projects and potentially finish both coats in the same day without any problem.
Alright, that works. So if kids put their fingers on the walls, can we wash them? Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
that's right.
Yes, it's a product that's both durable and washable.
With the airless sprayer, I did it with the airless to go much faster because at least it gets everywhere, because doing that with a roller and brush is hell, and I even did it on the framework. So now we're good. It's treated internally. That was the goal before adding the fiberglass insulation and drywall. The ideal thing in this house, if it were my house, that's what I would do. I would do exterior thermal insulation to bring more comfort in terms of insulation. And the other advantage of exterior thermal insulation is that it ensures water and air tightness. And on top of that, you can change the appearance of your facade and of course the color. That's what I would do. Now, it's no longer up to me, but at least I treated it because it was really moldy in some places. I treated it, I rinsed it, I painted it white, and at least it brightens up the site for me. So this multi-material paint from Espace Revêtements is just great because you don't need a specific primer for fiber cement or a specific primer for wood. I diluted it by 5% in the 417 airless spray gun and we spray it and it goes everywhere. The airless goes everywhere. So, I invite you to discover this paint at Espace Revêtements. I'll put a link in the description to the map with all the Espace Revêtements locations in France, and you'll be able to discover their world of powder fillers, paste fillers, their paint range, matte, satin, glossy, white or colored lacquers. They can make any color you want, and there's also the decor world with wallpaper, for example, or flooring. Large format flexible flooring, laminate flooring, and click-together PVC tiles. We'll discuss it again, since we're installing click-together PVC tiles with integrated underlay, as Mathieu recommended. We'll discuss Espace Revêtements again, and the link is in the description. So now we're going to focus on the ventilation system with the Ubink system, and that's a topic you shouldn't overlook in a house: ventilation and airing. And make sure to clean your ventilation system, whether it's the box, the ducts, or the vents, at least once a year. And the advantage of the Ubink you'll see is that you can really clean the ducts. So no matter the brand of the ventilation system, whether it's single flow or double flow, it doesn't matter. The advantage of the Ubink system is that it's compatible with most ventilation systems. So here, for me, it's a single flow because I have a bathroom, a kitchen, the toilet is integrated into the bathroom, I have vents on the windows, so a single flow. That will do the job. It's going to go up into the attic. We'll install the system Ubink step by step, starting with the roof. You'll see. The advantage of the Ubink system is that it's easy to install, everything is removable, it's a clean installation, and it's quick to set up. We don't have ducts that tear or can't be cleaned, because trying to clean them with a rod just breaks everything. Here, we're dealing with ducting that's really tough, and you'll be able to take everything apart and clean everything. Cleaning your ventilation unit or ducts at least annually is very important. So, of course, I'll put the link in the description regarding Ubink, but if you provide your plans, you can contact them, and in return, they provide you with a very thorough study with the Ubink system, including the duct, the pipes, the accessories, the elbows, the T's, the roof outlet, and so on. And you'll see that in addition to having the plan and the study, it's super easy to assemble and install. To start, we're going to install the roof outlet. For me, it's the tile version, but there's also one for slates. I'll add the link in the description. I first install the roof outlet and adjust accordingly. I install my connector, run the duct, and then install the ventilation unit, since putting it in first can lead to realizing it's off-center when you reach the roof and lift the tiles. You know what I mean. So I install my roof outlet first. Of course, we're going to tap on the flashing so it fits the shape of the tiles to make it watertight. We'll also raise the sides, of course. In short, we're going to make it perfect. And then, as I said, the duct, the ventilation system, and we'll unroll the ducting and the small accessories. We'll go step by step. Great! It starts raining just as I'm taking off the tiles with my stuff and the fiberglass insulation underneath. Well, the advantage of the rain is that it will let us check if there's any water leaking in. I'm going to go back to the frame side. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll come back to adjust everything and press down on the bitumen strip to fit the shape of the tiles. So for now, and I say for now, you'll understand why, I folded down the bitumen strip because of course it started to rain. Well, there's no water leaking in, so we're good. I'm folding down the bitumen strip anyway, it has to be done. Same thing on the sides, it really needs to fit the shape of the tiles. And since I'm paranoid, once it stops raining, I'll remove the tiles and put down 2 thick beads of Revêtements FT101. That's really what it's made for in this case. On each side, we put the tiles back and then we're all set. Same thing here, we can apply some Revêtements FT101 and fold it down. So now we can lower our duct and install the ventilation system, which will...
in that corner.
I'll give you a quick demo here before we install everything in the attic, since it's more comfortable here. I'll connect the ducts, and this cuts easily with a utility knife. I cut a small piece off the long section with a utility knife. A reducer from 160 to 125 that we're going to place here. And this reducer will go into the duct. like this, and it will come like this, and then we'll put a clamp all around it. Now I need to connect this elbow to the end that I cut, and we're going to use this type of clamp. So it's nothing more than a sleeve with a band around it, which we're going to tighten. You have to make sure it's fully inserted. So I cut it up there, so this is going to go at the roof outlet. This one we inserted in there. You see, like I was telling you, you really have to make sure that the pipe is properly pushed into the sleeve. And once that's done, we do the same thing for this one. We insert it in there. So maybe I'll do something. I'll put it like this instead. I'll put it like this, since it's going to come like this for me. So I'll have access to the clamp. You see, we're pretty good here. And now it still needs to be pushed in. Now we're good. Are we good now? Yeah, perfect. So once we fitted it properly, we put the clamp on top and we just have to tighten it. And that's what it looks like. So then I'll straighten it up, of course. And this, it goes like this. And it goes toward the roof outlet. So at the roof outlet, we insert the duct here and rotate it until it reaches the stop. There we go. We're pretty good here. So we already have the collar. We just have to go around, put it through here if I can manage. So here I put a little piece of pipe insulation. I found that. A dowel, a piece of wood, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. The idea is to slide this up to here. There we go. And of course you can adjust the cords to tilt the ventilation unit, but right now it's pretty good. Next I need to put my collar here. So then we put this in just like its little body. Press down. There, it's clipped in. So basically, this will go under the ventilation unit, and I'm even going to attach this part to the framework so it will hold my ventilation unit in place. So we have two ducts, and of course the ducts are treated with antibacterial coating. They will go from the ventilation unit and connect to the kitchen with the 125mm duct. So it's going to go like this. So we'll run this through the attic, and I'll put this one up there for now. And so to connect to the ventilation unit with an 80mm diameter, we have this seal that we'll place in this fitting. There we go, like this. So we fit it into the ventilation unit. Here we'll need to connect the duct. So on the duct we're going to place a seal. So we check that it's properly placed. We're good. We put on a ring. There we go. We fit it together, but I'm not going to fit anything together permanently because with this length, I can't really do much with it. If you need to take everything apart, well, you just pull on it, unclip it, and you can do your maintenance. So that's for the ventilation unit. And on the other side, for the bathroom, we're going to unscrew this part. The elbow on top of the drywall at the attic level, and from below once the plaster and paint are done. Of course, you can make the hole first and then do the plaster and paint afterward. I'm going to do the opposite. I'll do the plaster, paint, then make my 95mm hole. You screw it in and it clamps the drywall tightly. So here, well, we do the same thing. The duct cuts really easily with a utility knife. Honestly, it cuts by itself. We position and connect the elbow. We take the ring and put it here. And there we go. So that's what it looks like. There, that's done. Okay, let me explain why. I put in a rafter, so to hold it in place. I'm getting my stand. So to hold this part that we have in 125, and then we run 290 ducts. That's for the kitchen. But basically, I'm having trouble with the framework. The ventilation unit was too close to the framework. I thought it would be enough just with the elbow at the duct. But no, it's blocking me, so I have to extend the duct. I put another clamp on. There's about 24 cm of duct. I put the reducer from 160 to 125 back on. Now we can reinstall the ventilation unit in the center, so I won't have any more duct problems. I had trouble running the ducts through this framework before. That's how it is. So we adapt to the framework. The advantage of having placed this piece that goes to the kitchen, 125 with 290 ducts, so it's fixed to the rafter. It's that it will support the ventilation system that I'm installing.
It's right there.
So I still kept it. You see, now here you have to turn. Don't hesitate, it fits. 125. It's really made for it. So I kept what I had put in to hold up to suspend the ventilation unit. The advantage is that it's a bit more flexible. It acts as a safety. If the rafter were to break, you never know. At least the ventilation unit is still supported. And so now we can connect it. This, we turn. There, it's clipped in. Perfect. Yeah, we're good. And so now we pick it up. The duct. There we go. For the bathroom. What I showed you earlier with the seal. This. So here, of course, I've clipped everything in place. We fit this seal in there, and the seal will go here. We're pretty good here, so I'll get my duct. And we put the duct in. There we go. And there you go. Afterwards, maybe I'll add some clamps just to hold it here. We'll see. So now we can continue with the kitchen. So we take the first duct, we put the seal in place. The ring. There we go. And we fit it together, and it's clipped in. We do the same for the other one. You can see it goes together very well. It's quite simple to do. There we go. And now the seal in the first groove and the ring in the third. Now I'm going to stand in front.
There we go.
We turn it and it's clipped in. So this goes towards the kitchen. And now we're going to make a support. I'll do that off camera. The support is as simple as it gets. I put cleats on each side to then attach a rafter as a cross piece and fix my piece from underneath. So I have my two 90mm inlets. Here it's 125. We can now position the ducts. Of course, we put the seal on and the ring. I'm not clipping anything in place yet since I'll need to remove it for the sealing. This is just to show you.
There we go.
The second one. There we go. I'll have to trim off the excess depending on the sealing. So I could go up a little, but it wouldn't really make much difference since I'm almost right under the trusses here. So I'll still have to trim it no matter what. So I'm going to remove everything. Now I'll film from the ventilation system. You'll see how it looks, including the bathroom vent. And then for the ceiling, I'll just unscrew it and put it to the side. So this is the duct for the bathroom, which isn't necessarily in the right place. But I'm wondering if it might be worth putting one above the shower and one near the door. I have other ventilation system connections, so I'm considering that. There we go, the seal. The ring and our elbows that I showed you earlier. So it unscrews, we clamp the drywall, and of course, it will have to come like this. So for now, the duct is not positioned correctly at all. I just put a clamp to hold everything together. I'll unclip it later. What I want is to leave it on the duct. We'll fold all of this into the attic. That way, I won't forget it. Next, we install furring strips, fiberglass insulation, and drywall. Plaster, paint. Once everything is done, like I said, we drill a 95mm hole and I put the elbow with the vent just below. I'll do a quick recap from the roof outlet. So we have our ducts with a 160mm diameter. Then we get to the ventilation unit. I've added caps on the connections I'm not using. We go towards the bathroom, and here we go towards the kitchen with a 125mm diameter. So with this little setup, you get an overview of the Ubink system. My house isn't very big, it's less than 50 square meters. I just have a kitchen and a bathroom. The toilet is in the bathroom. But if you have a much bigger house with a kitchen, several bathrooms, several toilets, several laundry rooms, of course the Ubink system is suitable. The ducts are very easy to unroll. You can cut them with a utility knife. Then you put on your fittings, the seal, the ring, you snap it in place, and it can be swept, it can be cleaned. You take everything apart for maintenance. The 160 MO ducts are already insulated. As for the ducts, I'll have to insulate them myself. I have two options here. Either I do it myself with 45mm fiberglass cutting strips and wrapping everything. Or I don't make things complicated for myself, I take pre-insulated sleeves and run them through there. And that's what I want to do because I don't want to make things complicated for myself. But I did as much as I could before installing the ceiling. We're not safe from putting a leg through a plasterboard panel while handling ducts, a ventilation unit and a roof outlet. A tile could have fallen, of course, onto a plasterboard panel and broken it. I'll need to return after the drywall sheets are installed to finish the electrical work. I've installed as many boards as possible, so it should be fine. Next, I'll just need to unroll my fiberglass, since for now I'm only putting it up without fully unrolling it. I'm just going to lay it in each row and we'll unroll it when everything is finished. The electrical wiring will be underneath. And then the ducts, as I told you, we're going to insulate them. Okay, so the Ubink system, remember to contact them if you need this system. The link is in the description. They will do a study based on your home and you'll get a system that's easy to install, very comprehensive, and of course easy to maintain. So, the next video will be about installing the ceiling with the hangers, the furring channels, the insulation, and the drywall sheets. And then we'll be done with this ceiling. All that's left will be to coat it and paint it. But I'll run into a problem. You need problems or it's not fun. The problem with this house is that they installed the framework at the final height, which is 2 meters 53, 2 meters 52 meters 53. So they nailed the plasterboards directly onto the framework. I removed as many nails as I could. There are still some left in certain places to remove, but I can tell you they used nails to hold the plasterboards. So I'm having fun removing all of that. But my insulation will be 280 millimeters thick, so it will stick out by 18 centimeters in the calculation since the trusses are 10 centimeters high. Now you might say that's not a problem. Use ultra short hangers on the trusses, then install the furring channels underneath. Don't attach them directly to the trusses. Place them about 2 centimeters below. And then that's it. Next, I roll out my insulation, I install the drywall, and that's it. Except that if one day you need to go into the attic and step on the trusses, you'll have to look for the trusses and compress the insulation. So, we're going to crush the insulation at the risk of cracking the drywall, causing it to split, and so on. We'll never be able to create an access path by laying OSB boards in the attic. So, the idea is to double up the trusses with boards that are at least 30 centimeters high, either pine boards or OSB. It doesn't matter if we cut them in half. Since an OSB board is usually 67.5 centimeters, I cut it in half and attach it directly to the trusses. Nail it, screw it, it doesn't matter. And then I can roll out my insulation, which is 280 millimeters thick, and I'll be able to walk on the edges of the pine or OSB boards. And the owner can add OSB boards if needed to create a walkway or store boxes, whatever they want. But you have to think about that, because if you roll out your insulation and one day you say, oh no, we absolutely have to put OSB boards, and you press down, you compress your insulation, it's going to crack the drywall and cause them to split. Because 280 millimeters of insulation that you compress, believe me, that's going to put pressure on the drywall, okay? So there's a bit of work to do in this next video to get all that done, but it will get done. You just need to cut, nail, and screw. So I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, you can like, share, comment, the whole thing. And then work hard, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you for the next part of the work, which is the ceiling.